Hey, Aidan, it's Coach Benlin here. I'm just breaking down some of your swings from our last couple of sessions. I put all of my notes into a document I could send over to you after. Um, and I put 5 points of emphasis here that I want to kind of cover and show you some loops of your swing, one off front toss, one off the machine, and a couple different videos I found on YouTube and Twitter that I think will help. So let's start with a couple of the loops, and then I'll go over the document, and we'll talk about some of the points of emphasis going forward. Let's start with the front toss work right here. Okay, so I'll let it play through, and I'll kind of break it down and draw on the screen a little bit and help you. I've seen you hit some good shots here. We know you have natural power. Um, so there's a lot of moving parts, which is good and bad. It's gonna when you connect with the ball and you square one up, it's definitely gonna fly. But we want to make sure that we're not trying to do too much, and our heads bobbling around, and we can't make solid contact. So a lot of the adjustments are going to focus on kind of shortening things, keeping things a little more simple, and being able to square up balls consistently. You can see there's some good pieces here, some mishits. There's a good one right there. Let's kind of take a look at that one, break it down in slow motion here. Um, Here's your pre-pitch stuff, right? Good rhythm here, waving the bat around. I don't mind that. Ready to hit. Here you go, tracking that pitch in. Here's your load, picking that front foot up. All right, front foot comes up, stretches out front, hands are back. Okay, and then you attack the baseball from this angle here. Okay, so there's some good things and some things I'm a little worried about here. I'll kind of break it down step by step here. Um, Let me take it back to the top of the swing. Here you go, pitch is coming in, front foot comes up, here's your load, and that's the top of your load right there. So I don't really mind the simple load. That's okay. Less moving parts, less room for error. Some of the things I am worried about though are, do you see this? See how this barrel is dropping down below your head this way here, right? We want to make sure that this bat is kind of, you know, a little more vertical here. Okay, a little more at this angle, right? More of like a 45-degree angle. So you don't have to unwrap it around your head before you come through and swing. We'll talk about that more in person. It's kind of difficult to describe right here with where you are, in the swing. Um, but it's just going to make for a little more room for error when you're trying to hit some different types of pitches around the zone. But let me show you what I really want to talk about here. So front foot lands, here comes the swing, right? Barrel's coming through right here. It's good contact right here. So the things that I do like before we go into some of the things that I want to work on. And I like that you have a firm front side here, straight front leg. I like that you're using your lower half a little bit. That's a good place to be. Um, on this pitch, you do a pretty good job of watching the point of contact, staring, down the barrel here. I can say, looking at a bunch of other loops and other video clips, that's a little inconsistent sometimes. Sometimes you see the ball well, sometimes your head kind of bobbles around and you don't track it too well. This is one of your better swings here. Let me clear the screen. Through the baseball, here's your finish around your back. Okay, I'll play that swing one more time, full time. There we go. And that's one of your better swings from this loop right here. Again. It looks like an outside pitch. You take to right center field, which is pretty good stuff. Not bad here. So let me walk through the document, some of the things that I'm looking at going forward. Um, your hands, right? We want to talk about, we want to avoid dropping our hands. Sometimes you get below the ball, right? We want to make sure that we're being productive and we're hitting, the top half of the baseball, hitting line drives rather than pop ups. Sometimes in watching your swing, your hands kind of drop when you're loading. We want to work with our hands across our chest. Our hands are up and are high and are not dropping in our load, right? We want to make sure we're attacking the ball, you know, from almost a downward angle. I know it sounds strange, but that we're not getting underneath the ball. We don't want to clip the bottom half of the ball. We want to cut the ball in half from the top half. Okay. One of the number one things, and it's pretty simple that I want to talk about, is your head movement. We want to minimize your head movement. We want to make sure that we're not bobbling our head. We want to make sure our head is tucked on our front shoulder here as we track the pitch in. We see the point of contact down our arms when the ball hits the bat, and we finish on our back shoulder here. We're going to make sure that our head's not bobbling around or flying open. Um, we talk about in the sessions, we don't want to do jumping jacks and, and try to read a book. At the same time, it's kind of impossible with your head bobbling around that much. We want to make sure that our head is staying still. We want to make sure that you're tracking that ball 60 feet, 6 inches, seeing it all the way in, from the pitcher's hand all the way to the point of contact on the barrel. Um, a phrase that we use a lot is you can't hit what you can't see. It's all about using your eyes and seeing the ball well. So let's try to keep the head still and see the ball all the way into the barrel. Um, Someone that does that really well is Nolan Arenado. Here's a drill that he's been working on and something I want to work on with you. Watch his head movement and watch what he's trying to over exaggerate and do here in his BP session in the cage. He's going to see the ball into the barrel and watch how his eyes stay down. His head stays down at contact, even after the ball leaves the bat right here. See his head still down on the back shoulder there? He's making sure that he's seeing the ball all the way in. His head's not bobbling. He's watching it onto the barrel and he's finishing with his head still down. If we were working off the tee, I want you to think of it as, you're hitting the ball off the tee, the ball leaves the tee. Where should your eyes be? They should still be on the tee. All right, don't track the ball. You can pick your head up after and see where it goes. Here's another clip of a BP session, on-field BP with the Braves. Here's their shortstop, Dansby Swanson. And look at his eyes. You could tell that he's tracking that ball all the way into the barrel. All right, this is how we want to work in our BP session. Seeing the ball well, right, all the way into the barrel, onto that sweet spot, making sure that we're not pulling our head out or letting it bobble around. So we definitely want to minimize our head movement, right? The third thing that I'm going to talk about here is, and I'll show you a second, and I'll go back to the first loop to show you. All right, on your swing here, I'll go back to the good swing. Even here, we want to make sure that we're extending through the ball. So here comes your swing, right? Slow it down. Right here is your point of contact, right? You actually do a really good job. Let's focus on the good right here. All right, so right here is the point of contact, right? And this is probably why it's one of your better swings. You do a great job here of getting to the ball. Right here, that's contact right there. We want to make sure that you're extending through the ball. Okay, that means sometimes we say get through 3 baseballs. So keep swinging, keep pushing those hands through all the way here, here, and here before, exaggerate it all the way out in front. Extend through the baseball before you put it away, right? Before your hands come up along this path and finish out around your back. Extend through the baseball. Don't be satisfied with the point of contact. It's all about extension. Sometimes you do a good job of that, and like right here in the good swing, you do a good job of that. But if we play the loop continuously, you find ones where you kind of get to the ball and your hands kind of run away and go into your pocket. But we want to find consistency and extending through the baseball. Right here, so you kind of get this a high pitch, but right there, you get the contact there, and all of a sudden you start turning over, going right into your pocket here. Keep going with your hands. Throw your hands at the pitcher all the way out in front. Extend through the baseball. Um, I'll talk about the approach in a second. I want to go right to the BP stuff. If we're continuing to take BP, whether it's on field or in the cage, I want to make sure that we're not over swinging. I know sometimes we get in the habit of swinging as hard as we can, but the harder we swing, the more room there is for error. The more, if we try to do too much, that's when the head starts moving. That's where our hands start dropping. That's where we start losing balance. It's all about balance. It's all about, being composed, being relaxed. I would say to you, any adjustments you're working on, maybe one of these things on this document here that we're talking about, work on them at like 65 to 75%. We don't need to be 110% every time on every swing, because you might start doing some things wrong. You might start losing control of some body parts. And we want to make sure we're staying within ourselves, nice and composed, nice and compact. So let's take it 65 to 75%. I want you to think contact versus power. The power will come. You're naturally strong. I've seen you hit doubles and triples. I want to make sure that we're thinking contact first, squaring up the baseball, solid contact. Contact is king, rather than just trying to hit the ball as hard as we can all the time. Um, I put a drill recommendation on the bottom, which is the Arenado drill I just showed you, where he's keeping his head down after contact. So if you're going from the tee, hit the ball off the tee and finish staring down at the tee and hold your pose at the end. Make sure your eyes aren't being, bobbling around, your head's not being picked up. We call that the Arenado drill. Um, the last thing I wanted to show you here, two more things I wanted to show you. Um, this one's about approach. I put use the whole field, break the plate into thirds, inner third, middle pitches, and outer third. We say hit the ball where it's pitched, right? Don't just try to force your swing onto the pitch. Recognize where it is. Is it up and in? Is it down and out? And try to put that good swing and hit the ball where it's pitched. We want to hit all pitches to all fields, and we want to be productive. Just don't want to strike out, and we want to pop up. We want to make sure we're putting the ball in play. So if I show you you know an image of a plate here, we want to be thinking break the plate into thirds. What I mean by that, I know we talk about this in our sessions, but we have an inner third here, anything left of that line. We have middle in between the lines, and outer third outside, to the right side of this line. And we want to make sure that we're attacking the ball in good spots here. We really preach on the inside pitches. Well, to you, it's going to be, so you're a lefty. It's going to be, out in front, up in here, right? Catch the ball out in front of the plate, recognize it early, and hit it to the right center gap for you, as a lefty. Pitches that come middle, let them get to the plate, see them, let them travel to you, and hit them right back where they came from up the middle, right back to the pitcher. Outer half pitches, we work on seeing them a little bit deeper. It's good practice. Taking this pitch, seeing it deeper, letting it travel the plate, and hitting it to left center field for you. This is what we're going to work on, especially with front toss going forward, so that we're not just trying to put the same swing on every pitch, that we're making adjustments, inner pitches to left center field, middle, right back of where it came from, and then outer half pitches, outer third pitches to the left center field gap. So this is the approach stuff, breaking the plate into thirds, and hitting the ball where it's pitched. The last thing I wanted to show you is if you're going to, let me clear the screen here. If you're going to be a lefty, this is the one of the best lefty swings I could find. This is Christian Yelich. Just watch how composed he is, how balanced. He's not over swinging. Notice how his head isn't moving at all. This is one of the best guys to do it, especially as a lefty. Um, Hands get back, nice and balanced. Head's not moving. Watch his eyes all over the point of contact right here. Watch his hands one more time. Hands across the chest, not dropping. This is who I think you should kind of model your swing after a little bit. I know it's easier said than done. Obviously, this is Christian Yelich, but plenty of stuff you can find on this guy on YouTube and kind of model after. So just to kind of wrap it up here, and I'll send this document over to you. The 5 big things we want to work on with our hands, not dropping our hands, right? Staying above the ball. With our head movement, minimizing the head movement, not bouncing around too much, seeing the ball all the way into the point of contact. The extension piece, extending through the baseball, not being satisfied with the point of contact. The approach piece, where we're breaking the plate into thirds and hitting the ball where it's pitched. And then just in our BP sessions, not over swinging, not trying to do too much. Stay at 65, 75%, and find that good, solid contact and square up the baseballs. If we're going to do a drill, let's do the Arenado drill. Keep our head down, see the ball over there, and keep our head down after contact. Stare at that tee, after the ball leaves the tee. Any questions you have, you could shoot me an email, or I'll bring it into the next session. I know there's a lot of language and vocabulary that may be confusing, but I think if you have the document, you kind of track it there, watch the video back, and we'll pick up here in the next session. Good luck, and I enjoy working with you, and we'll continue to work on this through the spring.